Hey, there we are. Okay. I was waiting for Twitch to come up. So, hang on. I'm going to just tell the people in Discord. Hmm. What would you say I'm upset, Bughole? I can actually speak today, which is so much better than yesterday. Uh, Yesterday was amusing. That was not a ton of fun. Streaming after uh, the root canal. That was very interesting. Yeah, root canal as in dentistry. Absolutely. My second appointment. The doctor does it in three. Well, both dentists do it in three parts. The endo doctor does it two parts, where he goes in the first time. Yeah, we don't even need all the details. So yeah, I do feel a lot better. All right, now let's see what trouble I can get into by trying to actually change the name of the stream. Because I have never done this on my own, so this could be amusing. What could I break, while I'm doing this? Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, that wouldn't do it. Okay, let's try something else. How do we change the name of the stream? No, that's not it. That's not it. Hmm. Applications. Nope, that's not it either. Dun, 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 dun. Am I still on? Because my screen just went black on my other screen. Well, I'm still here. All right. So embarrassing myself so much because I have absolutely never just streamed. Well, maybe not never. I certainly don't even remember the last time, I streamed by myself without somebody in the office saying, okay, you got to do that. Is this stream for an argument? No. I just figured I'd come on since I'm in the office getting stuff done. And if anyone wanted to chat for a little bit, I would be happy to chat. No, I'm a Monty Python fan, but I don't remember that one. Or let's try dashboard. Okay, wow, that's no help. Sigh. Now I feel sheepish. Let's see if that did it. Nope. Okay, so I'm 0 for 3 in changing the name of the stream. So we will go to Google and figure it out. Yeah, it said to go to the dashboard. That's what I thought. And that's what I did. And was having no luck with that. Okay. Yeah, that didn't do it either. Even though that was one of the bits of advice. Okay. Supposed to be an edit button was advice number 2. Below the stream, which I don't see. Settings. No, that's not it. Yeah, I was looking for the edit button. I don't see one. So I wonder, I mean, I am signed in as the streamer, and I don't see a pencil anywhere, which is what I was looking for. Weird. Yeah, so I wonder if we're using a different account when Max streams and only he's the editor, or has editing permission. Seems odd. Try test. Oh well. Yeah, surprise stream. I came in here to get some other work done, which I did, and then I was either going to write a story, though I think it's too hot for that. So I am simply going to, talk to you guys for a little bit since I couldn't speak yesterday. And, oh, Hawk, I can guarantee that we're not going to release the game in 2026. That's easy. Oh, well. We'll stick with this name for now. So while you guys got me here for at least a little bit longer, any questions that I can answer since I couldn't answer them before? Like yesterday. No, that I don't think John was thinking of it that statue as a pointer to the depths, but it was pretty cool, wasn't it? That was 100% out of his head. I thought it was pretty awesome. Other questions, folks? Will new law be added from events that happen in the game? Yeah, I would actually like to do that. I think that'd be a great thing to add. What's my favorite race? Um, that's a tough one. That's a real tough one. I really do like them all, but I have a little soft spot for the uh, Banshees. I think we're going to do something really interesting with them. The man, what do you mean? Any chance you'd live stream this installment of the Founding Family story? I'm not sure what you actually are trying to say there. Because I may not, I'm probably not going to do a story because it's getting hotter in here as the AC is off and it's just not a lot of fun. Oh, you're just saying, well, you're going to see me write today? Probably not. I'll probably only do this for another 10, 15 minutes. It's getting warm and it's already warm and it's getting warmer. And you guys saw me, hey, Odovic, you saw me yesterday with the post root canal. So I don't think you guys have to see me sweating through my polo shirt here. So I'd like to figure out why I can't change the name of this stream. And I guess it's simply because I don't have permissions. How's the tooth? It's a little sore today, but not too bad. So knowing nothing that I can't live with. Yeah, it must be a permission thing, Danzing, because I do not see an edit button. And when I've gone in the dashboard, it actually says I'm not online. So that's really strange. So I know I'm online. So yeah. It might be. It's probably just because Max logs in a different account, and I'm just logging in on my account. Yeah, it wasn't a great weekend, Oldvik, unfortunately. Lost a couple of, founders, bigger tiers. But, I've got to stick to what I promised. At least, nobody can say that we've, you know, gone back on our word. Yeah, I'm going to try to log in on, I should be able to do this on another. Let's see if I can log in onto the City State Games one on the other, on my other monitor. Hmm. We changed the password. Let me grab that. Okay, so now I am. Hey, there's the edit button. Okay, now we should have the correct name for this. We shall see. Hey, there it is. Awesome. Okay, posted on Facebook. So we should be good now. Yeah, sure, your home looks surprisingly similar to the office. Yeah, it's amazing that way. As I was telling people and also posted on the forums, I came in to, get some refunds done and, some other work while I was here. And then I figured I was thinking about streaming or writing a story, but it's going to be too long, and you guys can already see that I am sweating a bit. So don't think I'm going to stream the story. Will you repopulate the bigger tiers in the stores? Yes, I've said I would do that. I will certainly put the founders tiers that have come back up in the store. Um, that's a no-brainer. I just haven't done it yet because, the same reason that I haven't tried to push any bigger tiers on our builders. We're late. Hey, what a surprise, right? Bet you guys didn't know that. And I just feel wrong doing it. And I know other games do it. I know other developers do it. But we're late, and I will not feel comfortable trying to ask people, which when you put in extra tiers or bigger tiers, that's what you're doing. You're asking people to buy it. None of this, hypocrisy of, oh, we're just putting it out for some people. We don't really want to push them. Well, no, if you're adding bigger tiers at this point when you're late, then what you're doing, no question, is asking people to donate. And Odovik, yes, for putting back the old tiers that were were refunded. Sure, absolutely. I was just addressing in general the idea of, hey, putting up whether it is the repopulated tiers or bigger tiers for either founders or for builders. That's not something that I think is totally cool for a game that's very late. And look, we are late. The good news is things are moving along in a really interesting way. I mean, you've seen you folks who've been in the alphas, and even some of the betas have seen, what we've been doing graphically. So things are going well there. You've seen the new animation system actually working, which is great. We had the 4th of July arrows firing, and that was fun. We had our bot count, briefly back over 1,000. And, the point of our bots is to do, just what they did yesterday. We were getting them up, we got them up to 1,500, but they were logging out too quickly, and things were, apparently going wrong in the later part of that test, which is great because that's exactly what is supposed to happen at this point. That's why alpha versus beta and why beta 1 versus beta 4. We could certainly go the easier route with this and try to spin the game up faster by not doing that kind of testing, by not being careful, and then moving through beta, turning off refunds, saying things like, "Ooh, we didn't realize that this might not work when we really went to stress test it," and that's just total crap. I mean, it just is. We want to beat on the systems. We want to find problems, and we want to find them earlier. And if it costs us a few bucks, and even if it's a big few bucks or a big amount of bucks from refunds, that's what we're going to do. You folks who have been so patient, especially you founders, you don't deserve anything less. So we're going to keep doing our thing. Hopefully this week we will get the impromptu started again. By the end of the day on Friday, the bots had shown that, yeah, there were some issues with, potentially some issues with, the number of things that were all firing off. And nothing big, but just, hey, let's track it down now. We were getting some asserts at the end of the day, which we wanted, and we talked about in the live stream this weekend, last week, that part of the changeover in the code Andrew and George have been making was to expose stuff like that. So, that was actually the exact thing we were looking for, and really good news. So we'll be able to knock those out this week. So, yeah, things are going really nice. Uh, what beta is the first pass of the depths going to be in? Let's get into beta before we talk about the depths. I think what we're going to do with mines and some other things will be satisfying for a little bit. DeWolfie, must it be stressful to be in the lead of development? Oh my God. Yes, it always is so stressful. We or I, uh, people who sit, and run a company like I believe in, which is, nice, office, open office where we can, chat about things, where, I'm very involved in things, where I'm using my own money for things. That's kind of stressful. I made a commitment to you folks, and I've stuck with it. But stressful, hugely stressful. I mean, look, things go wrong, obviously. Programmers, write bad code. Designers design bad, designs. Artists occasionally mess up an animation. It happens. We're all human. We all screw up. Um, and when you're working, more in a vacuum, when you're working in a publisher and you really only have a few people to answer to, that's stressful enough. But there's a whole lot of people who are expecting us to do a great job with this game. And so that adds a whole nother level of stress because I take this stuff really personally. I mean, you folks who are Dayak players or even Warhammer players, you know how personally I take this. I've never been, an absentee CEO or president or, developer. I kind of live in the office, not big on taking vacations, as you folks know, and, very often my vacations are, to Seattle right now, or to other places where I always try to meet backers and and talk to you folks. So yeah, really really stressful. And again, it's not just because I want to make a game, and it's not even just because of the money. It's stressful because so many of you have been so patient. Even the builders who started 3 years ago, have been very very patient. And one of the things I constantly think about is how to say thank you once again to all you folks who've been patient. I have ideas, so maybe in the next week or so you'll see more of them. Let's see. What's the most exciting feature you think will be in the game come beta? I think the sieges is going to be a lot of fun, and at least I'm hoping they're a lot of fun. And if they're not a lot of fun, we'll figure out why. But frankly, what you're going to be seeing in beta for the sieges is only the boy. I don't want to talk about this too much. I promise, no hype. Uh, but we are going to try to do a lot of interesting things with sieges. Because frankly, just throwing boulders, at a giant stone wall, need to do a lot more about it. Hey, Ziz, and we're going to do more with it. That I can promise. My concepts and vision for the siege system, I think, are pretty cool. Let's see. What do you think from Ozzy? What do you think about tutorial for the making ability? Oh yeah, oh yeah. I mean, look, the system's complicated enough that even some people here kind of go, "Wait, how does this work?" So yeah, we will definitely do a tutorial for that. Couldn't agree more. Especially in your follow-up where you say you don't want people to get frustrated before they get into the game. That's something we've talked about. We talked about it during the Kickstarter. We've talked about it afterwards. A hand holding, 30-minute worth of, tutorial doesn't make sense for our game. Other things that we can do to help people not get frustrated, couldn't agree more. Dorothy, oh, thank you. I am glad you're proud to be a backer. I mean that. You guys know that. We're proud to have you as a backer. Let's see. Speaking, you from Spike, you're going to be going to seeing a few of your peeps in a few weeks, going to DC on vacation with the fam. Oh, hey, vacation in Washington in the summer. Yeah, that's keep your fingers crossed. It gets warm enough and humid enough here that you might melt, but hopefully it won't be too bad. Odovic. I agree. I think it will show in the finished game. I have absolutely no doubt of it. You know, when you look at the kind of things that we've been doing again, and it's hard to make some people understand this. And I think a lot of you, I know a bunch of you in stream do understand it. There's a right way to do it, the wrong way to do it, and then there's a stupid way to do it. You know, we're doing it the right way. Do we make mistakes along the way? Sure, everyone does. But the right way means don't rush it out. Don't, under any circumstances, fail to pay attention to little things that could actually be important, and test the absolute ever living crap out of the game. That's in the document that I've been working on. You know, oh, maybe, hang on, I'm going to pull something up. Maybe there is something, since you guys are in here, then maybe I can share actually something with you that's a little more interesting. Got it. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, give me a second. I'm going to read through the document, and then maybe something I can share. I mean, as you folks know, I just started on the redacted version for you folks. So let me see what I can do. Okay, so I got something. Give me 1 second, and I will put it on the stream. All right, this, let's see. Okay. Now I've got to switch the camera. So let me get that set up. Now let's see if I did this right. Okay, can you guys see the document that I have put up for you to see on the left monitor, or no? I don't think I did it right. Okay, I'm turning off. I'm in OBS. I'm turning off the right monitor, switching to the left. So you should see it. Yeah, that's what I thought I did. But no. Okay. Trying to edit the scene. Hmm. Well, that stinks. All right. So much for that idea. All right. Since I don't know why, I'm gonna have to get another lesson from JB on this. Yeah, I'm trying. I'm trying. When I sit, I try to edit the scene. Nothing happens, which is weird. Let me try one other thing. Of course. Hey, I think I got it. Hey, there you go. Okay, I'll get that off. There you go. So this is from the document. Take a look at it. You know, guiding principles, for some of you know, has always been a term I use in the design documents. I've used it in frankly, so many of the games we've worked on, or I've worked on over the years. So, you know, take a read. Okay, and goodbye. And now we'll get back to this in theory. So, yeah. Hopefully I am back. Yep, I am back. So, yeah, it's really important, the things I've said there, in terms of what you folks are going to get, what you're going to see, what you're going to experience. You know, we want you guys and gals to enjoy it. You know, we've said that sieges are important. Oh, look, looks like a big storm coming. Good, it may cool things down. As you can see how red my face is getting. So yeah, that's it. That I hope you enjoyed the little preview. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be different. Real life Gobbo, yes indeed, but more. So much more, and that wasn't, as you can imagine, that part wasn't in the document. No, you will find out more about how everything is going to work in the coming weeks. Autovig. Oh, yeah. Now, what's really important for us is, look, we told you guys right from the beginning it was going to be an old school alpha. Beta needs to be different. We always wanted beta to be different. And the extra time we have is making it more different. Quack. You know, it's important not to let you folks down. It's important to show you that not only that we can, build tech, not only that we care, all that, stuff, but that we also have want to make it enjoyable for you guys. And so sieges are supposed to be fun. It's not just going to be like an alpha, oh, just come in, run around, and, try out some abilities. That's alpha, not beta. What we did with alpha was alpha. We can't do the same thing in beta. We never intended to do the same thing in beta because that would be, especially even more so with the delay, that would be lame with a capital L. I mean, that would just be craptastic. That's not how you get through beta. That's, once again, the right way versus the wrong way. The right way is to make beta feel like, hey, we are actually beta testing. There we go, a game, and not beta testing tech. Tech alpha, lots of tech, more coming. Beta has to feel more like a game. Ozzy, will Siege be able to? Will Siege be able to be destroyed by other factions? Okay. So yeah, Siege is about all sorts of different things, right? It's not just blowing up buildings. That's one part of it. But there will be other things with sieging, obviously blowing up the siege engines themselves, having abilities interact with each other in the later stages of beta. It's all about, one of the things that I say in the document in another part is it's all about building up the testing, the same way we did in alpha, one bit on top of another. So, the first step in beta testing sieges will be, the most simplest tests. Then the tests will get more complicated. Then they'll continue to get more interesting and more expansive all during beta 1. That's what beta 1 is for. We can't go into beta 2 until all that core stuff that we need for a siege is working and working well. So whether it's the Scorpions or some other, things I have, floating around and stuff that we're going to be working on, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be rewarding for players, and I think the ones who, especially for the folks who've left recently, they'll be a little sad, because we do want to make our beta test feel much less like an alpha test and more like playing a game. And as you guys saw in the beginning of that document, I said that we have to reward you for your patience. That is just 100% crucial, required. That is non-optional. It's easy to say as a developer, hey, the game takes what it takes and too damn bad. But that's not how we do things. It's not how we ever did things. Even back at Mythic, I just don't believe in that. And so part of the things I've been thinking about over this last year is what can we do with backers to reward them and to thank them. So you guys, you'll be seeing it come through beta, all the way through beta. Casp. So if you saw, it depends when you were in alpha. If you were in alpha recently, then you've certainly seen some of the newer assets. So if you tell me the last time you played the game, I can actually answer, that question. Yeah, it's getting real dark. Yeah, Odovic, I see the same thing. A few other games in production introducing some CU-ish features. Is there some features you're keeping under wraps? Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah. We see it too. As always, look, game development is all about building on other people's games and trying to be creative yourself. I just wish every so often when people take ideas from us or from other developers that they would thank them for it or call them out or say simply, "Oh, that's calling them out." Um, and say, hey, I saw this feature and I think it's great and we want to use it. I hate it when developers just, try to position themselves as, hey, we're the first ones that thought of it, or they just don't do the research. One is dishonest. One means you're a tool, a total tool, or the other one, the latter, means you just haven't done your research. I always try to make sure that if we see something in another game, or I saw something in another game that we want to do our own version with, that was original, obviously, not just, hey, look, they have pretty armor. Um, then I'd like to call it out and say, yeah, I saw this, in this other game, because I think that's what you should do, or at a minimum, just keep your mouth shut about how special a little snowflake you are because you came up with the idea of RVR, in 2016. It's just that's what we should all be doing as developers, being honest and at least being referential to the people who went before them, who did the groundwork or came up with an idea. Because otherwise, again, like I said, you're being a tool. Like I said, I always try to call it up, call it out. Yeah, the man, the wind is gusting, and I'm gonna go actually check the weather because my car is outside, and since it looks like it may be a thunderstorm, I want to know whether I should move my car indoors. So, give me a sec. Heat advisory, lightning strike. Yeah, nothing critical. Nothing like, oh my God, thunder. I mean, you know, golf ball size hail. In which case, I would move my Mustang underground. Okay, back to questions. Question about melee classes. What kind of things do you see melee defenders doing while they wait for the attackers to breach a door? Well, certainly they can operate siege weapons. They can, you know, possibly use, depending on what we get in, some other devices themselves, and hurl insults. I mean, you got to, definitely hurl insults at the guys on top of the wall. Uh, will there be massive server type raids, a la UO or TOA, or most things be balanced for small to mid-sized groups? Um, all of that. I mean, look, and it's easy, and I hate that answer, and I apologize for it because when a lot of developers say that, it means they don't understand the genre, and in our case, oh, we just flickered a little. In our case, we certainly do understand the genre. We're going to try to make this game fit different play styles, and that's obviously not easy. We said right from the beginning you should be able to solo a lot of the classes. Excuse me. And that's something that's important to me because, hey, frankly, I love solo. Second, groups. We want groups of different sizes. And you can say, whether 8v8 is the right one, or 7v7, 9v9, 10x10, whatever numbers you want to put together. I consider that to be small group combat, and that's really the only way it needs to be described. So, yes, there will be small group combat. Now, you can't, one of the ways you have to do that is, frankly, you have to give something for people to do. You can't simply say, "Oh yeah, we want to support 8v8," but you can't take anything meaningful unless it's 4 a.m. In a group that size, because that would just be frankly dumb. We would that. This is not 1999 anymore. We have to do better than that. So we will be designing, as we've said right from the beginning, different things for players of small groups. Hey, Sacrex, to do. In terms of large group stuff, yeah, there's going to be some of that too, and it won't be. I don't know how many times we're going to be saying this. Said it as well on Friday. It is going to be keep trading. Keep trading is no bueno. It is not the way that we want this game to run. And this is nothing new. I mean, for you guys who've been in from the beginning, you know that we've said that there'll be incentives and disincentives to taking and losing a keep, and you have to do that. So, we want the game to support all different, play styles. CAS API, yeah, not, I don't want to refer to, a specific developer, but, when you see developers doing that, like I said, I like to attribute it to ignorance versus malice, but when you see enough of it, then it becomes malice, and that's just lame. We're living in an age, of course, unfortunately, where people feel it's okay to say terrible things about each other, to do things, that 20 years ago would be unacceptable. Frankly, I'm not going to change. We're still going to do things the right way, and I hope other developers do as well. Odovic, will there be island-based modifiers that affect players? Yes, magic dampeners. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, of course. There's all sorts of things that you can do when you are protecting your island. And obviously I don't mean the island tier. It's protecting your property, your territory. We'll keep trading between actual owners, Pio. Nice. Let's see. Real life. Yes, there will be. I had to think about that because I wanted to be sure. Yeah, no, that's good. Sacrex, one question, please, and try to not make it a question that I'll have to spend the next hour answering. It's going to get hot. It's already hot, though hopefully the storm will cool things down. So, like everyone else, please, just one question, and I will answer it. Frankly, if I can. In terms of the progression, that is something that I can answer, not because I don't know the answer, but because, sorry, I don't want to talk about it yet, and that's something I want. There's some things that we're going to do with Ben, certainly with Ben, with Andrew, with different people, and as we get closer to beta, where we can make real presentations, not the just sitting by the, Christmas palm tree. So that's something that I would really prefer. So I don't want to say anything because I talked about some things already today we haven't talked about before. Anything big, I'm not going to talk about right now unless we've already revealed it because, that's one, not fair, and two, this is really, just not the right time. Odovic, yeah, he's been good about asking a lot of questions. Is the man, is the bird really the word? Used to be old, saying from right the '60s, and then Larry Bird, of course, who definitely was the word. Uh, Guy could play ball. Let's see, real life Gabo, will you be able to make things that affect the day-night cycle, weather effects? Yeah, that's something that we really want. The weather, not the day-night. Um, and it's not that we don't want the day-night. It's that, frankly, haven't talked about that other than the usual spells to help people see at night. But in terms of weather, yeah, that's something that I want to make important in this game, because if we can make weather work the way it should and really bring in the concept, of weather wizards, that's kind of cool and really does fit RVR beautifully. Spike Druid, we've heard stats can raise through use, specifically primary stats. How would our state like vision level up? Well, that's easy if you're an archer, right? The more that you use it, the more that you take and succeed on long distance shots, the better your vision gets. It's really just practice like anything else. Is there going to be any, sorry, hollow point? Oh, wait, there was, okay, no, that's fine. Hollow point, is there any linear power progression? Yeah, we said that right from the beginning. We are a horizontal system, but there has to be some linear, progression, within the game. Because otherwise poor Ben would be spending way too much time coming up with components that are just slightly different than other components, just to be uh, keep to a really strict horizontal curve, horizontal progression system. So we've said it's going to be a combination. There is and has to be some verticality within there, but not anything that'll be a problem. At least I don't think so. Let's see. Scrolling up, do you see any problems with three-way tug-of-war systems via stabilizers? Well, of course. Look, there's always the problem with the overpopulated realms, right? Um, that's not going to change unless you enforce a discipline on the game where nobody can come into a side, join a certain realm, unless the other two sides are in balance with it, which obviously we're not going to do. The question is how we can do it. What can we do to encourage people to join the other realms? What can we do to penalize the overpopulated realm at the same time, though I prefer carrots, not sticks. Okay, scrolling back up. Any plans or thoughts for Dragon Con yet? Yeah, well, right now I'm supposed to go. We're not going to go as a company simply because right now can't afford the time. If we take a number of programmers, then that's not a good thing. So right now, no immediate plans. If I'm there, I'll have the laptop, so I hopefully can at least show a demo to some people. But right now, no plans for a presentation, though that could always change at the last minute. Oh, Spike Druid, yeah, you're right. Fidrich definitely did predate Larry Bird. On the other hand, if you look up, unless I'm mistaken, there was an old expression from the '60s. I thought about the bird is the word, but could be wrong. It might have been referring to him. Let's see. Going through people who haven't asked questions before I get to seconds. It's Ziz. Where are you guys in adding Cube to the game? Oh no. So yeah, you're going to be able to build stuff for Beta 1. It says 100%. You can already do that. The only question we have now, that the only thing we can't do right now, is move the buildings from Cube it directly, the blueprints from Cube that have already been made directly into Camelot Unchained. that will happen. They are so out of date that we can't do that. We need to bring it, bring Cube up to spec. It's way behind. As I told you folks, um, that many months ago, that we were going to not do any more major work on Cube until we were in beta. And as I always say, I keep when I promise you folks something, I keep it. It's really that simple. And I promised you we wouldn't be doing any more major work on Cube. We had to work on CU. That was our intent. That's something that we were going to stick with. And as you folks have seen, we're sticking with it, even to the detriment, unfortunately, of some of our great builders like Necro and Swazi. But that's going to happen. Yeah, I mean, the improvements are going to happen, not, the detriment to Necro and Swazi. Again, Sacrix about path and progression. Not going to talk about it now. Okay, let's see. Elsewin, XP bonus for underpopulated realms. Yes, there'll be all sorts of bonuses for the realms. It can't be as simple as an XP bonus. Oh, I got a message from Lady J, who says I'm still watching you. So I'm being watched at work by my wife. Hi, babe. Hi, sweetie. Love you. Okay. Sacrix goes on to ask about the islands. Will they be? Can you move easily between the islands at any time, or do you have to, be more like a puzzle? We have to chip away at the edges. A little bit of both. I mean, certainly having whether it's a boat or some kind of flying creature route to go from your island immediately to the back islands of the enemy doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So it's a little bit of both. You have to earn the right to go deeper and deeper into their territory, but it's not going to be so, hey, this is the only thing you can do tonight, because that doesn't make any sense. Oldovik, in terms of the spell book, we haven't really changed our plan, but that's simply because we haven't aren't using any mages right now, and won't happen until later. So we are going to stick with what we have, which is, yes, you're gonna using an old school spell book, but like always, we want to make sure it's fun, because if that's just too big of a pain in the butt, then we're going to take it out, because that's no fun then. Aha, yes. Surfing Bird from the 60s. I thought it was. Thank you for looking it up. Uh, let's see. Brian, with Cuban Place, how do you keep people building things that yeah. So yeah, that's where we have to get into some both community policing and our TAS. And our TAS will be really clear that if you're starting to build, penis towers and other things that really don't fit, that we have the right to ask you to change it. And if you don't change it, we have the right to tear it down. We don't want to be condo, the phrase in the U.S., of course, is condo Nazis for people who are just so tough with any little thing. We're not going to do that. But if we see stuff that's egregious and players let us know about it, we'll certainly take action. Uh, Weiku, how do I keep the team motivated during game development? Yeah, that's always a problem, because no matter how good the person, no matter how good the intention, no matter how cool the game, after a while it starts to get more frustrating. I know that it's hard. Um, there's no magic formula, there's no magic trick to make it work. We're fortunate, that, for example, in the case of Seattle, all the programmers there are new, and so it hasn't been a slog for them. for the programmers and artists here, and obviously designer as well, and Max, the writer. It's a little harder, but they see and share the passion for what we're doing. And frankly, as I've always told people about CSE, and this was true for Old Mythic as well, we're kind of all in this together. And I've spoken about this a number of times, how any company that I run doesn't just share, with the employees, with the rest of the team, with the partners. Take any of the cool kid words to describe the team, because you can say that, anyone can say that, but how do you do more? And anyone who's worked here, and you hope it's anyone, but look, you can never tell if there's bad feelings. Knows a few things about me and about how we do things here, and that is, I always try to do the right thing. I'm not perfect. I certainly always try to. I'm here for anyone's problems. I'm not just the boss. So I help I help people with their issues, because I think that's what you need to do. You don't need to be a prick who sits behind an office door and has fear, uses fear to rule. I've never believed in that. um, you keep them excited because, like I said, they have a piece of the action, and not a little piece of the action, a big piece of the action, when we succeed, even bigger than Mythic. And back in the old Mythic days, that was a pretty big piece, bigger than other development studios, from what everyone is telling me. And everyone meaning anyone who comes here, frankly. So, that's another way to keep them motivated. Then we also do things together. We try to keep it light, no cult stuff. They go out to the movies, we go out to the movies, they, come to the house, we go to other people's houses. We do that sort of stuff. So we think that all helps. But at the end of the day, the only way to really keep people motivated is, one, to have the right people, and two, to just make something cool and do things the right way. Okay, fourth shock. How is the actual world coming? World's coming along really well. I mean, if you look at some of our more recent videos, you've seen the biomes that we're working on. We teased a bit about the first mine we're building. So we're really, moving things along quite nicely. I think, just about all of you were surprised that we were going to even put in mines for Beta 1. So, hey, surprise. So, you know, that's the sort of stuff we want to keep surprising you guys with. Uh, let's see. Beggar King. Hey, yeah, I remember the name. And by the way, I am way behind in the chat scroll, so I'm not ignoring anyone. I simply probably haven't gotten to your question yet. Real life Gabo, yeah, we'll put the office address, or send me an email and I'll send it to you so you can get it. Yeah, in terms of secrets, in terms of the damage cap thing, so big difference between Dayak and War. A lot of those decisions would, in Dayak were either made by myself and Rob and Matt and Kane, and at times a really smart, he was a kid at the time, but a really smart kid, really talented programmer by the name of Brian Axelson. Um, so, that was a more, communal way. In terms of Warhammer, in terms of caps themselves, I do not believe I made the decision on, caps versus no caps. Look, difference between War and Dayak was a difference between 23 people working on the game and 200 people working on the game, as well as working on EA, working for EA. So, you know what? I've got to plead a little bit of ignorance there. It may be that I did talk about it, back with the guy who was, really in charge of, designing those abilities. But in all honesty, Sacrix, that was a long time ago, and man, oh man, was my plate full at that time. And thank you for asking about my wife. She is all good, and that, as you know, was one of the things that also hit me for more than a year during Warhammer. Was my mom being diagnosed with inoperable lung cancer and dying less than a year later. So there's a whole section of time from Warhammer where, not that I wasn't there, because I certainly was there, all but 2 weeks. But there are things that I know went on that I frankly didn't know about, and also some things that, frankly, I don't even remember. So I'm sorry, I am definitely not trying to avoid the question. Hey, Sacrix, tone down the questions, please, in terms of the number. Even though I know you're probably way ahead of me, because I really do want to get to other people's questions as well, and I don't want you to think I'm skipping you, just because, Sacrix, because I'm not. Okay, let's see. In terms of master builders, Odovic, possibly. I mean, I do want to get the community involved a bit more, but I want to be careful about that. Dangzing, when you said mine, I had a flashback to hugging the walls in Vendo Caverns. I am sure this won't be the first or the last time people might feel that way. Okay. Okay, Hollow Point. In terms of rewards, so very quick dump on it. Obviously, it's based on the Realm reward system, and the Realm rewards will be calculated. Still, that is still the plan on a nightly basis, though it would be morning to be technical, I guess. About what, based on what happened the entire day in the Realm. The rewards will be all over the place because they need to be. One of the phrases I use, all the time, and you guys who are in chat probably have heard me say it more times than you like. There are no silver bullets. They're only good for killing werewolves. And it's the same thing I say here when it comes to design. The silver bullet for rewarding people, for punishing people, for getting people to the realms, to join other realms, it's not a simple thing. It's not something that can be, solved by only doing one thing. So the realm rewards for participating in RVR, for killing other players, will be a very mixed bag. Nothing bad, because that would be also dumb, but it won't be as simple as going, hey, you killed Sacrix, so you get X amount of progression points or experience points or penalty points or any term that I'm making up, or obviously taking from the past, because I'm not giving anything away. It needs to be You need to be rewarded in many different ways, and you also need to be rewarded in a more cumulative or aggregate manner as well. So it's not as simple as, hey, you just killed Sacrix, or he just killed you. It's, what have you done over your career? Where are you in your career? So think of it as, the progression system or the reward system as a combination of everything from the progression system to achievements. So hopefully that answers your question. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, since I'm caught up, let's go back to Sacrix. Are you still planning very limited hard removal of character and crowd control, but more soft and a counter effective CC? Actually, I guess you weren't in the stream yesterday. We did, well, Ben talked about it. I just held up yes, no signs, about CC. Yes, we do want to have all sorts of different solutions to the problem of crowd control. Nothing is off the table. We've said that right from the beginning. The only thing we're trying to stay away from is the whole idea of you being, mesmerized, controlled, running around like a crazy person, sitting there unable to type because your keyboard is locked, for too long of a time. We don't want to make it not fun. We want crowd control to be far more useful. We want it to be something that you can, as a player, be active in on both sides. So, if the counter is you having to do something, like we've talked about it using the veil, that you just, can't, hit one button and, now you're out of crowd control. All of that has to play into a strong crowd control system. And we've said that right from the beginning, as you know, that we want a strong crowd control system in this game. What we've also said from the beginning is that we want to see if we can be more clever. Okay, not just to be clever, but to have a better, crowd control solution. So we'll see. Let's see what else. What else we got here? Is there going to be any form of cross-realm economies? Brian, great question, but no. Everyone on those other realms are your enemies. You know that. So cross-realming in any form, exchanging stuff, is not good. At least not certainly on the main server. Elsewhere, can we put a bounty on someone's head? Oh, absolutely. If Sacrix comes in Sacrix, I'm sure there'll be a number of people who want to put a bounty on his head. Let's see. Are there goals in the games other than taking enemy territory? Absolutely. Let's see, Odovic. Let's see, time 3 o'clock. All right, so I can do this for a little bit, but then I've got to, I want to go because the storm sadly petered out, and so it didn't cool anything off, and I am getting even hotter, and so I definitely want to get out of here. So let's see. We talked about moving players into the Veil. Correct. There's all sorts of, and that's really good, Odovic. Really good, because that's when you look at the whole use of the veil. It doesn't have to be like all or nothing, right? It doesn't have to be, hey, you're in the veil, and now you're totally useless, and you can't see anything, and blah 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 blah. There's all sorts of ways that you can use, that we can use the veil and other things. It's not an all or nothing proposition. Okay, it really isn't. So, well done, great point. And so there's a whole, again, just some interesting ways that we can do things. Real Life Gabo, will souls be used for more than merely crafting? Yes. Toxico, right now the answer is no to the arrow question. Could that change? Possibly. Right now it's simply the projectiles do their damage. At least those kind of projectiles. I believe we put fall off in there, the ability to have damage fall off. I don't know if it's working yet. Let's see. A reels. A Reswell. Okay, A Reswell. Wow, got it. Will you be constantly interrupted with your casting or just staggered? That's a really long answer. If you look up Camelot Unchained and Disruption, so that will give you everything you need to know about our disruption system. It's meant to be not constant, hey, you get, dinged. It doesn't matter whether it's Dayak or other games where, you get dinged by a feather and your casting gets interrupted, or somebody hits you with, a piano and you don't get interrupted. So if you look up disruption, you'll see how it works. And I don't mean to, dodge it. I'm not dodging it. It's just getting warm in here, and I want to make sure not to get any on long answers. But Sacrix is actually, answering a little bit of it right now. So what else, folks? Take care of an email while I'm at it. Oh, that was really nice. Nice email from a backer. So we can craft pianos and hit people with them. I'd love to do that just for fun. But the idea is, yes, you can hit people. Ah, don't know if you guys can hear the ambulances. So one of the jokes we always make up in the office is that we don't know where all these accidents are happening, but pretty much on every day, if not every day, almost every day, usually around 3:30 to 4, sometimes as late as 5. Fire trucks and ambulance always, coming by the office, and it's really interesting. It's odd. We need to finish the cow catapults. No, you mean the Lucapan catapults. I think other people do cow catapults. Fix a more personal question. Is everything okay with you and your wife? Um, yeah, with me, no major health issues. I put the weight back on that I lost, but that was due to combination of laziness, Janet's, breast cancer certainly, uh, you know, uh, through, made our life harder through monkey wrenches into plans. And then my knee surgery that I had a little bit ago that was supposed to get me back on the basketball court wasn't quite as successful as the doctor hoped. I then got even lazier. I've been back on the diet. I've lost weight, and we'll continue and going back to the gym as soon as I get past I'm embarrassed that because I weigh too much right now. In terms of my wife, Lady J is, recovering well. No new complications. Nothing that, that I haven't told you folks. Nothing I can think of. Fortunately, the cancer surgery was quite successful. She didn't need chemo, just a little bit of radiation, and she's doing the hormone thing. Uh, so, you don't ever want to say necessarily that you dodged the bullet because you never know. Cancer sucks, and it's you don't ever want to tempt the gods by saying, "Hey, yeah," But she's doing great. We're going to be going out to dinner with friends and going to see Dunkirk tonight. Let's see. Yes, Odovik, there is a fire station nearby, but I know there aren't that many fires in Virginia. Not this part of Virginia. Sekrick, so you're still planning on adding more programmers? Yes. Certainly would like to be able to do that. Brian, will players be able to permanently alter terrain? That's something we want to do. We've talked about it in the past, so yes. Bughole, I sent you an email concerning online marketing. Send it again. I don't seem to have it. Fix in terms of my knee. Yeah, my knee's better. It took longer to rehab and to feel good again, which was really frustrating. But I knew that after the surgery. The doctor had said that there was more damage to the knee, and I should have known that because he was being optimistic, and I was like, I was thinking this, and I was trying not to be my cynical self. Um, because I knew how much the knee had been through in terms of years of basketball and hockey and still playing ball outdoors. When I was too old to be doing that, so I was, I shouldn't have been surprised. But it feels so much better now than it did a year ago, so that's at least encouraging. And it's, I think it's even better than it was prior to the surgery. So I feel good about that. Is there documentation on how gear works? Would be more set concepts of war, or more templating concept with skill caps. So that's a long answer. The one thing that I'll say a couple things about it because time is running out, and obviously, guys in chat, you can feel free to add more. We said right from the beginning that stats on gear like you see in a lot of games where it's all about getting, most number of pluses on it. That's not what this game is about. It is not going to be a gear grind. We've been really clear about that. As you will see in the inventory system, or for the guys here who have been following the game and been part of the game as backers, they know we are going with a lot of gear slots. So you have a lot of choices. I think more choices certainly than most MMOs. I can't say all because I simply haven't played all MMOs, but certainly you'll have more choices in your gear than most games, or gear slots than most games. Bughole, are you a backer? And answer the question. And if you are, you can just actually, I don't even have to wait. If you're a backer, send me an email on the forums. And if it went to jobs, I'll check with Anna. Okay, then I'll check with Anna, because if it went to jobs, it went to her, and then she'll send it to me. She may have thrown, depends on the marketing. Usually she doesn't throw out marketing emails, but hey, you never know. Heard that the latest Nolan film was Slam Dunkirk. Oh, that's clever. Yeah, I've heard great things about it. Bad Lunar Rising would like to know since Falling Dance has been verified. Blah 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 blah. Physics and what can we expect in the following scenario? No, it's okay. I get it. I get it, Olvik. In theory, that's what we want to have happen. We've said that as well, not using that example, but that's a good example. Uh, if you looked at the example of, Lucapan fighter going against, a Frost Giant fighter, some of the abilities that the Lucapan could have might not go work as well when, they run into the physical specimen that is the giant. So it would be the same thing if you could fall out of a tree, you essentially become a projectile. So yes, we do absolutely want it to work that way. We have a physics system. Players are physics objects, so yes, it should work that way. You play basketball. That is fun. I love basketball, man. I grew up. It was, yeah, I played it most of my entire life. I am really proud of that, especially since I was a boy. My dad was, always called me an orthopedic nightmare, and he should know. Was an orthopedist. But yeah, I love basketball. In terms of ground targeting, that's something we've talked about. There'll be all sorts of different aiming modes, and not everything in this game, of course, is going to be reliant on ground targeting, because some of that doesn't make sense for our game. Launching catapults, for example, across the walls of a castle when you can't actually target the thing on the ground unless you're jumping through some hoops in order to, make the walls invisible and seeing into the interior, and then even making the entire interior go away, because knowing where the enemies are within that castle would give you an advantage. So yeah, you won't be able to do that. So ground targeting for something like catapults, wouldn't work. Uh, Dangzing, apologizing for older repetitive questions. Nah, dude, assuming dude. Don't ever apologize for something like that. You're a backer. You have every right to ask questions. Sometimes even questions that have been answered before. I don't have a problem with that. I mean that, non-backers have the same right, but especially as a backer, if I can't take the time, especially if I can answer the question, like now, time constraint, or others because I don't want to give away things now. I have every right, you have every right to expect me as the developer to answer them. So your apology is accepted, but there was no need for the apology. Brian. Oh my God, yes. So a question about restricting information flow via the API, hugely important. because you certainly don't want to, hey, we have this great solution so people can hide in the dark. But we're passing the information about everyone that's within that area to the client. But don't worry, it's encrypted. No one will break it. Yeah, I'll end well. So yes, that is something we talk about, and that is something that is crucial to the game. Dangzing, yeah, Chris, yeah, CP3 going to the Rockets. Did you see about Kyrie Irving saying he wants to go to my Knicks? Been a Knicks fan all my life. So embarrassed lately. Luckily, they've made some changes. Maybe they're moving in the right direction. But, Kyrie coming to the Knicks, for, along with KP, and I like the kid Dotson, who they drafted. Nidalinka or Nidalinka. I think it's Nidalinka. Apologies, I'm probably wrong on that. I don't know much about. I followed him prior to the draft, but not a lot of tape. But I watched Dotson in the summer league. He might be a keeper. Dalgary, how will you cope with the fact in 2019 when you release the game, there'll probably be a lot more competition? Oh, come on. If you're going to troll me, do better than that. Come on. Saying that 90% of the people have forgotten about the game. That's the kind of comment I get on YouTube, at times. Come on. You can do better. Because 90% of the people, or MMORPG, some of the people say a similar thing. People will not have forgotten about the game. We're going to be streaming more. We're going to be doing other things, frankly. And, if we aren't, then the game sucks because we don't want to show it. And that would be bad. And then maybe they would have forgotten, but I doubt it then because then they'd be mad at us. But fortunately, I'm not worried about any of that. Sari, thanks very much. I think we will have an awesome product. Psychtooth, am I the only person at the office today? Yep. I am the only one. Absolutely the only one. It is hot, and I don't make everyone, come on the weekends, especially now. Let's see. Predatorus. Oh, playing since Magestorm. Thank you. Loved Magestorm. Great game. Aliens Online. Great game. Dangzing, you live in Brooklyn. Sorry, man, especially if you're a Net fan. But, at least they tried to be smarter. It didn't work out, but they tried. Psychtooth, yeah, encryption is always broken. Anyone who says it's not, look, it happens to every game, so we just need to be very smart about how we do things. Dangzing, yep, couldn't agree more. Yeah, Dalgary, in 2 to 3 years there might be. So I'll tell you a quick story. Back in 1999, back in 2000, when I was trying to sell the rights to Dark Age, we need to get, publishing rights. We need to find a publisher. I can't tell you how many publishers said to us, hey, Mark, how are you going to compete with all those other MMOs in development? There are literally hundreds of MMOs in development, Mark. We've looked at all these other games and they look better than yours. We've seen what they've said. How are you going to compete? Almost every publisher who turned us down, not everyone, but almost every publisher who turned it down for that reason. And what I said to them then is so much truer today. Simply because we have history on our side, is why don't we wait and see what happens? If you're not publishing us because you're worried about the competition, fine, great. But you should know as a game publisher that a lot of the games that come out will be shit, or a lot of the games won't come out, or a lot of the games will be late. So I'll worry about that at another time. Will there be great games coming out? Absolutely. If you look at all the games in development, I am sure there'll be some really good MMOs. But if you look at history, and history is a hell of a teacher, man, it just doesn't work that way. Because if you go back and, use the Internet Wayback Machine to find this out, the information is out there. If, well, it sounds like an ad for an old TV show. Um, there were literally hundreds of MMOs in development with Dark Age of Camelot. Hundreds. And these were announced. These were things that people were swearing they were going to come out. And what happened? So we'll see. Sacrix. Oh, sorry. Skipping up to Oldovik. How heavy is the Amazon box? Are you worried someone sent the entire... Oh, yeah, I kind of figured that was in the box. That should be an interesting reveal. I didn't want to reveal it on Friday because, man, that would be lame. If you guys went to the trouble to troll me with something like that, poke a little fun, fantastic, love it. But I wanted to be able to respond without a yes or no because that would have been lame and so in not keeping with me. Okay, reading a longer question from Squiz. So, look, the only thing I'll say about New Frontiers, and you can judge whether what we're doing is close to that or not, is New Frontiers was a reaction to what we saw from the data from Dark Age of Camelot and what was coming from War. It was really that simple. It wasn't something that I or Denton or Matt, had thought of just out of, our own heads. We looked at the data. We looked at how many people were playing in RVR. We were looking at the fact that at that time, when we made the decision to do New Frontiers, more people in our game were spending more hours in PvE than RVR. We knew WoW was coming out. I was part of, the WoW Super Friends and Family beta test because I had known the Blizzard guys, for a while. And so we knew what was coming. We knew a juggernaut was coming, and it was going to be a PvE juggernaut. So we decided to try to remake New Frontiers. To make New Frontiers, to remake things in a more interesting, we hoped, way to keep our players. That's what, we were thinking at the time. We needed to do that. The data supported it. It wasn't something I or anyone else at Mythic simply pulled out of our ass. We had the data, the metrics were there, that more and more people were leaving RVR to play and only playing PvE. So, it is what it is. We took a chance. Did it work out well? Obviously, it was not everything we had hoped, but look, this is something you have to do. You have to be willing when you're making a game, even in an MMO, when you see things among your player base, you have to react to it. Now, you don't overreact, and we don't think we did. We took our time, we had watched the data for a bit, and then made the decision. Let's see. Warhammer was great for a game that was rushed by EA. I can say without any hesitation that it wasn't only EA's fault. I myself, look, I didn't make every right decision. Nobody made any right decision. But frankly, there are only two people in the world who've had the balls to say that they made a mistake during that time. One was John Riccatello, and the other was me. Everyone else who was involved in the decision making, even the people who were making way more decisions about the content of the game, never had the guts to own up even privately to the team. And I'm not talking about the guys who were doing the hard work. I'm not talking about the guys who were coding, designing. I'm talking about leadership, because leadership has to, in my mind, be willing to say mea culpa, to say they screwed up. Unfortunately, not everyone believes that, and it's a shame. I know John Riccatello did, and I know I did, and so, it is what it is. Warhammer should have been a better game. We had a better team. We had a team that was working really, really hard, who gave us everything they friggin' could to deliver a great game for us. They worked their collective asses off. I was so proud of them. I'll always be proud of them. I will defend them to the death. I will never, ever say a bad word about any single person who worked, on that game. in a non-management, high-end management level, because everyone who worked, even if they made mistakes, even if they did dumb things, they're only human, and they worked their asses off. They worked crunch. They did everything we asked for them, and they were, not in any way responsible for what war was. On the other hand, there was so much greatness in war. There was so much glory in war. If we had had the extra time I did ask for and that I did recommend, we would have been a lot better off. Also, if certain people had been honest about things, we would have been a lot better off. Okay, let's see. Good question, Sacrix, about timing of skills and lag. No, we don't see a problem with that right now. Our engine, frankly, is made for an FPS game. We've said this before. This is not new. This is not news to anyone else, to anybody who's listened to me at least, or Andrew talk about the engine. We designed the engine from the beginning to be an FPS engine, not an RPG engine. That doesn't affect you folks except in a good way. So no, we don't foresee any problem with that. Do you still keep in touch with your own employees at Mythic? Some I do. I always have time for any former Mythic person, who reaches out to me, and I certainly have reached out to some of them. I congratulated, for example, Matt, on his success with, Elder Scrolls. I know a lot of people thought it underwhelmed. It was late, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's still going. As far as I know, it's making a lot of money. So from a financial perspective, for ZeniMax, I hope they're happy with it. I know it has a lot of players, so for the players, I think they're happy with it. So Matt should be really proud of himself. It wasn't the world's easiest situation. You're dealing with obviously a very important IP to a company. He had to build the engine from scratch there. Well, part of the engine from scratch, and then rewrite the engine that they licensed. So they went through a lot of trials and tribulations, but all good. All good on him, for the job he did. In terms of some still working at CU, yep, Anna from Mythic is still with us. Obviously, Mike Crossmeyer worked with me at Mythic. Andrew worked with me at Mythic. Ben was at Mythic. Bull was at Mythic. So we certainly have some. Odovic, of all the games I've made, which is your favorite? Not based on profit or successfulness. Well, let's throw Dark Age out, because frankly, nothing is going to compare to Dark Age on any level. Well, almost any level. There are a couple that compare to it on different levels. But so let's take Dark Age out of the mix, because that game was in so many ways a revelation. So besides that, I tend to like either Silent Death for that fun 15, 20 minutes game, or Aliens Online. I loved Aliens Online. Now, that's my personal preference, only because I adore the Alien movies. Ridley Scott's original one was great. Cameron's off the charts, brilliant, one of my favorite movies of all time. I thought it was awesome. So I think those two. But look, I played a heck of a lot of Mage Storm too. So, a lot of our games. We made a lot of fun games for a company that had no money and almost no backing at any time, other than one for Aliens and then Dark Age of Camelot. Did I ever play Kosh? Did I ever Koshoken? Sorry, Koshoken. Did you ever play tabletop games? Oh God, yeah, tons. So 70s, late 70s through the 80s, played a lot. D&D, RuneQuest were two of my favorites. Though a lot of the time we ran our own systems, or the ones including the one I wrote. Squizzle. Squiz. You didn't answer the question of open world RVR. Well, we've always said we're open world RVR. I'm sorry, I didn't think I needed to answer it. We've said right from the beginning. Actually, I'm quite sorry. No, instance-based does not exist in this game. The only instance-based combat will be we said we'll have starting battlegrounds for players to help get used to the complicated system. That's the only thing that's going to be instanced. Everything is open world. I'm very sorry, we've been quite clear about that. Fade Roll, yeah, GW hasn't had a lot of success with their games. Some have been quite good. Some of the THQ, old school THQ ones were good. I love the guys. I love the guys. I think there's still some there that I work with at Games Workshop. They were sweet. They were wonderful. They were very kind. And, they really wanted us to make a great game. And again, there was a lot of glory in war. From a financial perspective, it made them a bunch of money, so I know they were happy with that. We stuck, to the kind of guidelines they laid out for us with the IP, and that we laid out together. Let me be very clear about that. I worked with them on it very closely. They're really good. They were really good people. I loved them. I loved working with them. No one's perfect, as always. They weren't perfect. We weren't perfect. But I enjoyed the heck out of my experience with them, and I love the Warhammer IP. So, I wanted the game to be even better. And if we had that, even that 6 months I wanted, it would have been. If we had a year, it would have been even more. It is. Your games have a special immersive feeling you don't get from other games. Thank you so much. As to why, yeah, me. And let me be very clear about why me, because otherwise it sounds way too egotistical. One, that's important to me. Second, because I give the other folks who work here or worked at Mythic a lot of latitude to try to make the game feel immersive. And that's really important. You have to allow your team to have some of their own thoughts, ideas. That's one of the reasons Dark Age was so great. It wasn't just me. I've said that from the beginning. It wasn't just Denton. It wasn't just Matt. It wasn't, any one person who made that game great. Yeah, it was my idea. Absolutely 100%. But that idea isn't the game. The idea is only the stepping stone. Yes, without the idea, there is no game. But without the team that makes the game, the idea, doesn't get you anywhere. Well, it might get you funding, but, without the team, it doesn't get you anywhere. So that's how it was so important to me, and just as it is now, to emphasize that. But it's something that I care very much about. Look at the Becoming stories. I've written almost every one of them. Look at the little touches in Warhammer. Look at the little touches, you'll see already in our game. A lot of them I came up with, but a lot of the other ones will come up with other people because I said, come up with interesting things, please. Try to make it more immersive. Try to have little touches, that will make people feel better about the game. The details can be really important, and that's something I do care about, especially when I have more time to do so. A fix, yeah, it is hard to sometimes say why. A game feels better, combat feels better. Hopefully, it will in our case. Psych, do you think if EA didn't push for an early release, you would have been able to push the door out with a more complete experience? So there are two things that would have allowed that. One, time. Second, honesty. I've said this story before. It's as far as I will ever go. And, well, I don't want to say ever, because certainly there would be situations in which I would spill all the beans. But I won't do that because, frankly, they're not worth it. But what had happened is one of the biggest problems Warhammer had was the fact, two things. Both were bugs. One, the metric system. The programmer who wrote it did a really good job. No question about it. But like any piece of code, occasionally there are bugs. The metric system was actually broken before we launched. You folks, some of you folks, maybe somebody listening to this might have actually been one of the people who I trusted to give me data from outside the company. And you guys told me, Mark, I know you've told us that it should take these number of hours to go through this tier, but that's not what we're seeing. And that led to a very unpleasant argument I had with a person at Mythic. I was told everything was good. It turned out, obviously, everything wasn't good. So, as you folks who played War knew, the first tier was awesomeness. Second tier was also awesome, but started to get a little more grindy, and then it got grindier. The other problem, of course, was crashes in tier 4, especially with keeps. So, this is no blame to the programmers. It shouldn't be. It is blame on management, because management said we would be able to fix it before players got to it. I was assured of that. I was promised that, and that was a load of shit. So those were two of the big problems with War, unfortunately, especially at launch. So if I had had another 6 months, let alone a year, yes, those would have all been fixed. And I think it would have also been a different launch. Plus, to be honest, and since I referred to this earlier, it's no problem, since I've said this before, our advertising budget was cut because, in the words of EA, I had done such a good job in marketing the game. So, yeah, they cut what was already a tiny advertising budget, and I mean tiny, teeny tiny. They cut it in half. And so those two things really did not help us at all. Okay, moving through. Why did War never receive any major updates besides the tombs? Well, you would have to ask the guys who ran Mythic after me, because I had nothing to do with it. I said what we had to do. I had plans for the expansion. I wanted to bring the vampire accounts in. There are other things I wanted to do, but the guys who took over from me, frankly, ran the company, so I had no opinion on that. I do know what they would probably say is, well, they had to be tasked on SWTOR, because that actually is the truth. But not all of them were tasked on SWTOR, and frankly, Ye had enough money that if they wanted to do more with Warhammer, of course they could have. But, it also wasn't all of EA's fault, because frankly, GMs do get a chance to say and fight for things. I got us one extension by fighting. I don't want to say they could have gone more for War. Who knows? Dredge, did Ben design the Classes of Dayak? Nope, he wasn't here. He wasn't there yet. Going through the chat. Fix, I still have the Dark Age of Camelot soundtrack. Yeah, Rick Schaefer did an awesome job, especially for how little we had to pay, him at the time. I mean, very little. Rick was awesome. He went on to have he was already obviously working on his career, and he went on to have an awesome career. Much props for him for being the talented, great man he was for us, and has continued moving forward. The man. So it'd be accurate to say you made War for fun and profit. Oh yeah. I mean, look, I've never hidden that. I love making games. I love designing games. I love being involved in companies like this. I like almost everything about it. Stress can sometimes be hard. Did I make it for fun and profit? Yeah, the fun part, absolutely. quick story I've told before. I'll cut out all the long details, or because I do have to get out of here shortly. Um, GW had approached me before about before we actually licensed it, um, about licensing the War IP. Um, yeah, they were already working with another company in England. So yeah, I told them, look, I'm not interested. Obviously, you're working with this company. They asked, well, could we get some advice? And I was sure that I'll be happy to do. So they asked me for some advice, and I don't mean, hey, cancel the game. No, they asked me to look at what they were showing and what I thought, et cetera, et cetera. And then the project happily continued along its way. Eventually, they canned the project, unfortunately. I know that the guys at Games Workshop weren't happy when they had to do that. I know Climax had worked very hard on it, and there was a lot of interesting things there. Then they came to me and said, "Hey, Mark, would you be interested in licensing Warhammer now?" And this is one of my moments of not necessarily being the best businessman in the world, because I do believe in being honest and leaving money on the table. I said no, actually. I said, you guys should not be talking to anybody about licensing Warhammer right now. And they were like really surprised. They're like, "Don't, I thought you loved our IP." I said, "I do, and that's why I'm telling you this, because you guys have just been through hell. You burned a bunch of money because they were funding it. You, spent a lot of time. There was, I'm sure, a lot of passion involved with it, and you need time to think about what to do next. Whether you want to license it right away, whether you wanted to try again on your own, and give yourself a little time, then talk to me." So they waited a bit, and by the time they talked to me again, they had already lined up another company to act as a publisher. So that made the negotiations nightmarish, and I won't go into details as to why. But let's say they were not necessarily being totally the easiest folks to work with. So that eventually fall through, and then we did get the license, to make the MMO, which was great. So yes, I made it for fun because I love the IP. Yes, I made it for profit because if your games aren't profitable, your studio has to shut down if you're independent, or you lose your comfy or not so comfy job at the studio at a publisher. Jewel. I love persistent universe with no instances, but also competitive plays that you can't really achieve in open worlds. Do you have any plan for arenas in 8v8 or 4x4? Keep so. And I don't have time for the whole system to go into everything. But what I will say is that we want to have objectives that will be focused on smaller group encounters and not just large group encounters. I am just reading through the chats because obviously I've missed a bunch of messages. Sacrex, not in a million years. Just saying. Taz, EA are the worst company ever. At times they haven't been. Oops. At times, certainly, there have been things that they did or behaviors that they engaged in that weren't the best. It really all depends on the person. It really does. Sagrix, I hate you. Uh, Sunglass is so not going to happen. but you are being funny today, so thanks for that. You guys could hire Hans Zimmer for your soundtrack. Only if he wants to work for truly for peanuts. I've got some in the back that, you know. You think he'd work for pistachios? You know, because that might work. Let's see. Squiz. Oh, you're welcome. Um, you know, the dreads were great. You know, will we have a dread-like server for you know, Unchained? Same thing we said from the beginning. I know you didn't know this, but if there's demand for it, yeah, I'd love to bring back the equivalent of a dread. No values. Thank you so much. Would you know, Imperator Online ever, uh, you know, would I ever revive it? I wish I could. I love that IP. I adored that IP. Uh, you know, Rick Priestley, who was one of the, you know, really, really bright guys at Games Workshop. You know, we talked about that actually. And one thing that he said to me is, you know, and I forget who used this quote originally, sometimes you have to murder your darlings. And he was right. Imperator had to go. It was troubled. It was going to be a money sink, and I didn't know if we were going to get it right. And by we, I mean we, including me. Once again, the infamous or famous or trademarked, however you want to look at it, willingness, you know, of me always to, you know, include myself. You know, again, as always, I despise developers or even publishers who don't, you know, do that and put all the blame on, you know, other people, because that's just friggin' lame. Or not even worse, but not good either, is just not saying anything. But you know, Imperator was an interesting, I thought, idea. Other people thought so as well. I think that it could have been saved if we had enough time. Um, but I also did not want to keep spending the money we were spending, especially in light of what was going on, frankly, with WoW and Dark Age of Camelot's numbers. Um, you know, there's a long story there that involves investors, and investors need to get paid and be successful, you know, with their investment. But at the end of the day, it was like a lot of things. It was a good idea that just never, you know, ended up the way I hoped it would. I would love to see it again, but who knows? Okay, so we're gonna do the 5 minute thing because I want to get out of here. Now the sun's coming out, so that's gonna make it cooler. Um, I want to get out of here and you know, get back home and then get ready to go out to dinner and go see, you know, Dunkirk. And frankly, this is run longer than I thought it would, but since so many of you wonderful folks showed up to ask questions and so many good questions, I just kept going. So 5 minutes, guys, and then we're out of here. Yeah, great question, Zawandi, though my pronunciation is terrible. Yeah, WoW was smooth. WoW was so friggin' smooth. You know, do we think we can come close to that? We're going to try. You know, so many other games, you know, tried and failed. But that's the example. That's one of the examples I've used for, and so is Andrew, for making something, you know, feel fluid, feel smooth, feel really good. So hopefully. Still got 4 minutes. Sacrix, yeah, GW2. Yeah, so that's a great question. I think I've answered it before. Um, you know, I was a little burned out certainly after Warhammer and after what happened at Mythic. Um, you know, back was sore and all that. So I needed some time to think about things. I didn't think I was going to get back in the MMO world, frankly, because I didn't want to get in. one of the great ironies about to come up. Um, because I didn't want to get into, what I thought was going to be a 6-year project, to make a game that would be even competitive with WoW at the time. And so I didn't really want to do that. Then, so, I stopped playing MMOs. I started, just chilling and thinking about, whether it's mobile games or even Facebook games. Um, and then I started playing Guild Wars 2. And, we can argue, discuss, debate whether it was a good game, bad game, but whatever, however you want to look at it, I thought it was a fun game. And, because I try not to be terribly judgmental, unless I need to be. I just want to enjoy myself for a little bit. So there are a bunch of games I played over the years. Whether other people find them good or great, I just can find them fun, and that could be good enough. I thought GW2 was a lot of fun. I wasn't a fan of their endgame, but the leveling up, I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed a lot about it. Some things I didn't enjoy so much, but overall, I enjoyed it. So, that got me thinking about MMOs and discussing MMOs again, and that just led to this. When we saw what was going on with Kickstarter, um, you know, I thought, okay, let's take a chance. And I did not think, quite frankly, it was going to take this long. Fortunately, I'm still having mostly a lot of fun. No one has a lot of fun all the time. Having to go before you backers and say, "Hey, we have to delay things." That was no fun. That was no fun. That was definitely, one of the low points of my existence, at least as a, running a company. I hated that. I hated that with a passion. But once again, that whole responsibility thing, I wanted to deliver that message, directly to you guys along with Andrew. So, we did it. Other than that, I kind of love what I'm doing. I love so many of you guys. And I don't say that in a, bullshit way. Some of you folks have been so, you know, so kind, to us. And I don't mean just support, and I certainly don't mean just money, but just kind in general. Nice notes, to me about, Lady J. Little things that, you just send to us. You folks have been, really, so many of you have been so special. And again, it's not a question of money. It's not a question of, and no attack is meant on Star Citizen. But, it's not, hey, will you buy our new spaceship? Will you buy our new horse? Um, it's simply that you folks have been really kind. So many of you. Um, Again, with just little things, and even a nice email every so often saying, hey, thank you guys for all the work you're doing. Thank you for, you know, what you have, what you have done. All that means so much. And so, you know, that really helps. There are times where, like today, when I'm doing refunds on a Saturday instead of being with my wife. Um, and fortunately, she's really understanding and supportive, and has been so kind over the years when it comes to the crazy husband who she met back when he was going to be a stud attorney, and then went to be a poor game developer for a very long time. But it's stuff like getting even messages on days like today from people where they saying thank you, or you guys in chat taking off from your time to sit in and ask questions. That all means a lot, and it should mean a lot, and it's always meant a lot to me. And for those who've been playing my games since even the Aridath or Dragon's Gate days, this is me. I've always been involved with players. I've always, been talking to them directly, and it's nice when and important when I get some, you know, we get some feedback, you know, simple thank yous. So, with that being said, because it is almost 4 o'clock and the 5 minutes is more than up, I am going to call it an afternoon. So as always, folks, all of you who see this, or all of you, who've been in chat asking questions, even you, Sacrix, and I mean that with all sincerity. Yeah, you had some funny bits there. I thank you as always for your support. I thank you for your time, and I think you will, like what you see a lot as we reveal, for example, the document that will tell you what's coming in beta. I think you will really enjoy what you read. So again, have a good day, everyone, a good weekend, and I will catch you all later. See ya.